Preparing live stream. There it is. Hello. Well, I think it's actually preparing to live stream for a little second here. So welcome everybody here. My name is Cash Donda. I am the Sherpa over at Super Team, and I am thrilled to invite you and bring you all now to, where are we here? The third ever DLMM strategy session hosted by Ben Chow, founder of Meteora, and me, Cash Donda, Sherpa over at Super Team. We have some fun guests today. We have increased the production value a little bit for those of you who have been with us since the early ugly Zoom days. We now have a pitch deck as well to go along with things. Here's what we're going to do today. A little quick hello, that's what I'm doing right now. Then we have some cool things from the community to show off here. So Kagren's got some Dune Dashboards to talk about different pools on Meteora that he'll take us through. So shout out to Zippy Steak. Then we have a profit and loss calculator from ISC. I think Richard and Phil built it, and Phil's actually going to be the one to be talking to us about it. And then we'll spend the remaining time looking at some community curves, seeing what kind of strategies people are deploying right now on Meteora, trying to maximize fees and points and all that other good stuff. And of course, since we are here in the in Zoom, we also have the Q&A feature. So if you have any questions at any time, drop that up here and we'll be able to get those answered. If you're watching over on Twitter, hello to you and to Elon Musk. Come on over to the Zoom. I think the link should be right around it. And you'll be able to participate in the chat and get a little bit more involved. That's the idea for today. So just as a reminder, if you are here in the Zoom, make sure your chat is set to everyone so that people can see what you're saying. And really, just kind of level set for anyone who's new here, the point of this session is to figure out how to use the DLMM. I think one of the most exciting new products in all of DeFi, not just on Solana. It is a different way to provide liquidity that allows you to avoid slippage and has a bunch of other really cool features. So that's where we're going to focus today, because sometimes there can be a learning curve, and the idea here is to make it easier for people to be able to use that. And what is the upshot of that? Well, one, you'll be able to LP more effectively. But two, you'll be eligible for this 10% LP stimulus plan. Ben, can you tell the people about the LP stimulus plan in case they have not already heard?
Yeah, so if you provide any liquidity on Meteora, any pool, whether it's in the DLMM or in our dynamic pools, you're going to earn 1 point for every $1 TVL per day and 1,000 points for every $1 of fees earned. So, and the 10% of the MET token that is going to be allocated for these points, for this point system. So huge incentives.
That's a big chunk of tokens, folks. That is a big chunk of tokens. And what I love about that is that it is to those who are making the best use of the platform, the kind of power users who are driving the platform by earning fees. It's good for you. It's good for Meteora. It's good for the Solana ecosystem. And so today, that's going to be part of the thing that we talk about. And everyone you hear from today is a part of the Expert DAO. So if you're watching this, you want to get more involved with the Meteora community, head on over to the MET Discord. Some of the best minds in DeFi over there, if I'm being quite honest. I mean, of course, the ISC teams and many others who are speaking on this call and beyond. So with that said, why don't we start off with some Dune dashboards that we can look at that Kagren has made here to see what is happening on the Meteora side. Kagren from Zippy Steak, how you doing, my friend?
Cash, I'm well. Thanks for having me. How are you guys doing?
Living large as usual. Another day in paradise. Portfolio bleeding red, but still smiling over here. I don't know if
this is the way, isn't it?
This is the way, my friend. Cool. So from what I hear, you have some Dune dashboards set up to show us here. Is that right?
That is correct. So let me see if I can go ahead and share my screen as well.
As a man of the people, anyone can share their screen on my calls. And look at that, wouldn't you know it?
All right. Yeah, so I mean, this really came about after, I mean, I've been LPing on the DLMM and really wanted to get more insights on like what are the pools that are driving fees and then ultimately then try and, you know, how can I capture that? Of course, for the fees itself, but then as mentioned, I mean, there's a nice 1,000x multiplier on those fees as well. So that surely has some interest. And now I mean, I think you have that captured fairly well in the Meteora UI now, but I think it wasn't there in the beginning, or maybe I was just crap at finding it. So I wanted to have some data on it. So yeah, I went to Dune, which we've been using a bit in Zippy Steak, and have an account there, so started hacking away. Was able to find the fee data on chain, and then this was the first dashboard really that I that I created, and where you can see statistics on swaps basically. So fees generated on the swaps. And this is for the past 6 hours when the dashboard was refreshed. If you're new to Dune, then you need to know that these aren't like real-time dashboards. You have to refresh it. So it'll say here that this was refreshed 4 minutes ago, and then if you want to refresh it, you can just click refresh, and it'll take a minute, and then it'll have update data. So here you can see the pools. And this is showing the pool pair. So this is showing all the different pools for the same pair, so different bin steps, etc. And then we can see that the WIF Sol pair is just generating a lot of fees, and this is converted into USD, of course.
So that's
And then
that's like 30K in fees just in the last 6 hours on the WIF, on all of the different WIF pools that exist.
yeah, if my data queries are correct. This is, of course, disclaimer. I take no responsibility for anything that is shown here. Obviously, check out the SQL if you want to be sure. I've done some spot checks, and it seems to be like reasonable from what you're displaying in the UI. But I mean, there's a ton of fees being generated on the DLM, that's for sure. And then I'm also extrapolating it to 24-hour fees, and this should be pretty comparable to what you have on the UI. So this is as a percentage of the pool TVL, because obviously, I mean, even if a pool is generating a lot of fees, if the TVL is really high, then I won't necessarily be generating a lot of fees if I deposit into that pool. So then this is really like the measure you want to look at, and this is also available in the UI, of course, with the 24-hour API. But this just gives you another way to query the data, and then of course, if you fork this dashboard, you can do lots of stuff by looking at like how does this look historically and how has that evolved, and you might find exciting correlations that you could utilize. I'm also showing swap stats, so like the amount, like the number of swaps, the amount of trades or swaps, also per pool, and then you have the sort of raw data behind this in a table that spells out the pub key for the pool, and then the bin step and the fee. And here you can also get data then on like what is the actual TVL, and you can have some fun with this. You could also search here. Let's say I want to look at the Drupal ones, for example. So the Dune dashboards are they're pretty cool. And then really, if you want to do something else, I mean, it's all here. I mean, you can click on this one, for example, and then you get into the this SQL is a bit gnarly, but then this is like how all the data is retrieved and the logic behind it. So I mean, it would be awesome if anyone wants to fork this and come up with some new insights. So this is kind of like a base for you. And then going after that, I mean, I've been participating in his calls, and I'm not sure if it was Ben or someone else that asked, like, wouldn't it be cool if we could actually view the distribution of liquidity, compare Orca to DLMM? And I thought for sure that would be cool. Let me try and figure that stuff out. So this is the latest dashboard that I've done, which is then doing exactly that. It's pulling the liquidity distribution from Orca and DLMM. So this is the whirlpools on Orca. And then it's aggregating all the different pools for the same pair. So here you can select, like if I want to look at the liquidity distribution for the Drupal Sol pair, and I want to look at, for example, all the fees, all the tick spacings, and all the bin steps, and all the fees, then this is what you get. This is actually a bit complicated to do because you need to then discretize this into buckets so it becomes comparable, because the price is going to be different depending on your tick spacing or bin step. But this basically puts it all in one view. And why is this of interest? Well, it shows you where there's potential misalignment, right? So if you have a market belief that, let's say, that you versus Sol is going to go down a bit, and in this case, for example, you see that, well, let's see, it's going to go down here below like 0.0057 or so. If nothing changes, then Whirlpool is going to be capturing more of those fees than the DLMM is going to be doing. So I mean, if that's the market belief you have, you could get an outsized impact on your fees as it looks now. I mean, this changes, of course, all the time, because then what you see here is that then you would, you'd be able to relatively capture more out of the DLMMs rather than just giving it all to Whirlpool, because this is basically what's going to happen, right? If nothing changes here, Jupe goes a little bit lower, then Whirlpool is going to be collecting a lot more fees relative to DLMM. So I think this is a really important. I mean, to me, at least when I've been LPing, I've used this quite a bit to sort of just see, like, where can I get the most bang for the buck? You know, where can I capture the most fees? Because ultimately, like, if Whirlpool has a ton more liquidity that's concentrated, well, they're gonna, that's maybe where you want to do your LPing then to capture that. So this gives you the ability to be a bit more data driven. And it shows really an interesting nuance here, which is these peaks on the DLMMs, the blue bars here, which correlates to the bin steps. And so if you're selecting a certain bin step, then a higher bin step, that means, well, you're not going to be, you will be competing against what's between here. That's coming from Whirlpool. So also the bin step is really interesting to look at, and versus the tick spacing to see, like, if liquidity is concentrated somewhere in between here, what happens then? Because then you have a larger bin step on the DLMM. I don't know if that still is being captured, or if then like Jupiter would favor the Whirlpool. So I mean, lots. You could spend tons of time on this, of course, correlating this to fees and so on. But once again, I hope this is a good base for people to work off of. And once again, you can check out the SQL if you click on the query here, and then all the stuff's there for you to play with if you want to do another analysis. This dashboard also allows you to look at other pairs or specific fees. Like, let's say you want to compare the 1 BPS fee on pool on Orca versus DLMM, then you can do that, and you can select different pairs here as well. So it's like Sol UCC, for example. Well, it looks like this. It's pretty aligned, so probably not a huge opportunity here specifically, but checking these out, looking for imbalance or where the distribution is significantly different could indicate opportunity, or at least that's how I'm looking at it. So yeah, I guess I'll just stop talking now. See if there's any questions.
I want to chime in here, because this is probably some of the most advanced Dune dashboards I've ever seen, and it's so sick. Like, this thing is amazing. So and the reason why I should share, because I think the way that I would use it, or that I find it's really helpful, is spotting the opportunities where, like, Orca is not super concentrated, but there's like really good volumes happening, right? And like before, like just so you know, like before this chart or anything, like the way I would feel it would be like, usually if you're LPing if you're LPing on the DLMM on like a really high volume pair, right? You just put some concentrate just a bit. Like, you can see your fees in real time just start printing, like it starts stacking, right? And then there were times before I was like, I would do it, and then I'm like, wow, like the fees aren't printing. It's slow. It's like I'm not making as much money, right? And then it'd be like after the fact that I'd like poke around and be like, why is this thing not printing money? And I'd look and I'm like, oh, like there's Orca LP is like super concentrated, right? Like if their peaks are really high and they're super concentrated, they're just going to win more of that volume, right? And so I'd like notice it after the fact. But now with this thing, you can like look at the landscape of where the concentrations are, and like, you know, sometimes the LPs somewhere else, they're just not like, they're not paying attention to that pool, or they're not as active, and they're lagging behind. And so when you see that, you can pounce. You can be like, all right, I can go in, concentrate hard, and like just like rip it with the fees, man, and just like while it's going. And like this is like such a good tool to kind of see that, right? And you just like, you know, where, and you don't have to like kind of guess. And
Mhm.
it's quicker than just poking around, you know.
Yeah, I
No,
think
that's, I
what's
think, I appreciate that, Ben. I think that's usually like the measure of a good dashboard. Like if it's making something that you're kind of doing already easier or faster, right? So you're not having to invent like a new way of working. It's just optimizing that, right? And I've been thinking of doing a dashboard to try and like find the ones where the concentration really differs.
Yeah.
So instead of
Mhm.
having to, you know, sort through your favorite pools, then you'd get like a list of like, here is where the concentration, you know, is looking really different around where the price is currently, or something like that. It's a bit tricky though, because you need to come up with some sort of good distance measure between the distribution, like statistically. I mean, that's something that I have on my backlog that
I
I
think that'd
think
be
would be really
incredibly
cool.
helpful.
And I'll share it if I'm able to put that together, of course.
That'd be incredibly cool. And if you're watching this and you think that you might be able to help on that, just message Kagren over in Discord to kind of take that forward. I think what is so sick to this for me, as not like a a super Chad DeFi degen like some of the folks on this call, is that you have kind of like two categories of dashboards, right? Some of them are kind of like just in case dashboards where, hey, this is like good information to kind of see, and then you have kind of like just in time dashboards, which can actually tangibly influence your decision making. So that first one, if you don't mind going back real quick, Kagren, to the swap stats, just knowing which pools are kind of printing the most fees and having that like at one click right there for you. So like those top five right now, I think I saw was like Whiff Soul on the first upper left dashboard there. It's like Whiff Soul. I think it was like Jupe Wen was maybe the second one. If you could just move over there.
Yep,
The
yeah,
third
you're
one
right.
was what? What was the third one there? Then it's Wensol, and then it is Jupesol right after that. And then there's a little bit of a drop off to JLP USDC. So immediately you can just look at those and be like, oh, well, those are obviously places that I should go. And of course, you can see that in the UI as well in terms of the amount of APY that's coming through. But so right away, that gives you a clear sense of like where there's a lot of action happening. I think the percentage of fees as a part of the TVL is even greater as an idea. That's another place you can spot real opportunities. And then as you guys are both saying, to be able to make the invisible visible with that second dashboard that you have with the distribution overlay is, I think, going to help some power users really clean up, basically, especially if you have clear ideas on where the market is going. So if you're watching this back at home and you're wondering like, hey, I don't know where exactly to go or how I can kind of go from like beginner to intermediate, I think these dashboards would be an excellent way to do it. Dipto Tiger says, I'm brand new to this and I had a hard feeling finding my pool. Is there an easy way to find them? Do you mean in the UX or do you mean inside of these dashboards here, Tiger? That'd be the one question. Within the actual UX, you should be able to just search and it'll kind of filter those pools on Meteora so that you can figure out where you need to go after that. But Kagren, I see that there's a third tab open. Is that another dashboard that you have built out as well?
Yeah, so this one was actually this one is a bit more advanced. It's not an overlay, so it's showing them side by side instead, and it's also showing you the distribution of token A or token B or X or Y, you know, like the tokens that make up the pair. So this may give you some additional insights. Obviously, the whirlpool and the DLMM architecturally works differently. So in the DLMM, you have either you have your bin step, your array either has like token A or B, versus on whirlpool, and then you'll have both. So this for surely means something in terms of like how trades are executed, and this is just an area for a lot of further exploration to see whether I was thinking of like correlating this to fees, to see if there's a difference like with the token distribution specifically in the pair. Like, does that matter in terms of like who gets the trade, if it's Whirlpool or if it's DLMM? So there's like, I mean, there's like plenty of stuff, man, that you can do on like building statistical correlation between like what is it that's drawing trades or volume. Because ultimately, I mean, obviously, if I'm, I'm LPing on DLMM, mainly, then I would want to see, I want to see zero volume going to Whirlpool, obviously. So then I'd be looking at like understanding like, okay, what are the mechanics of that? So I'm not sure if this is particularly helpful for anyone. It's just, some stuff I've been thinking about.
No, it's really cool. Just real quick, because someone asked this question as well. So, and I think I answered this in the Discord, but I mean, I would love to see data on this. So some of this is just my extrapolation based on my understanding of how things work, but the way to think about how the DLMM attracts volume is that if if you're at a high bin step, right? So basically the distance between the price bins is pretty wide, right? So the bin itself only quotes one price, right? And so like, you know, half the time maybe the quote is like not the price isn't as good, right? And the other half the time it's good, right? So which is and that's a function of the width, right? So if the price action is quite volatile, then which means the price is moving quite a bit within the bin, like or between the bins. Then you should see the DLMM should capture more fees and volume, right? Because it's kind of moving around, and then that allows the bin to have more competitive quotes and for the dynamic fees to come into play. But if the price action is less volatile, so it's actually not moving around that much, then smaller bin steps are better, because then you've got a more continuous quoting curve, so you should capture more volume that way, and it's more likely that one of the price bins is, you're landing on a price bin with competitive quotes versus a high bin step. So I'm not sure if that came across well, but that should, you know, um, uh, that might, I mean, it might be cool to even see data on this, like mapping price volatility with fees on a DLMM pool, but I imagine that's kind of how it would work.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so I think that would be awesome to get some data on, and that was kind of like I was trying to explain earlier. Like on this graph, you see, I mean, you see these peaks, right? So these are larger bin steps than an Orca will have. Will have liquidity in between these bins with their ticks, right? But also DLMM is here, but it seems like the larger bin steps, carry higher liquidity here from a relative perspective. So
Yep.
I mean, it should be possible to get data off the chain on like if the price moves around in here, like between these two peaks, like it's really volatile around this point. Where did the fees go? I mean, is that what does that mean in terms of fee generation, or if it stays here, like if it oscillates around this peak where clearly DLMM has, you have a larger bin step that with a lot of liquidity here, what does that mean? So I think there's or how does that drive fees? So I think there's a lot of interesting stuff you can do here with the dynamics of like how trades are selected and what is driving fees. And then that will guide you like what bin step should I be using right now and how concentrated should I be? If my belief is high volatility but centered around the same mean, for example. So I could see this. I mean, it would be great to have more people, thinking about this. That it could be like a trade guide coming out of this. Like if you see this kind of behavior, then and this is what the liquidity distribution look like. Then do X or Y. So that would be awesome.
That's pretty great. So if you're watching this at home, do encourage you to get involved. I'm sure that we'll post the link on Twitter, and I think it's already in the Discord. Do you mind dropping into the Zoom chat as well right now, Kagren? That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, of course. I'll get it in there. I'll just stop sharing and then I'll put it
Listen,
in the
Kagren
put
could
it
be
in the
keeping
chat.
us
Hey,
all.
sorry for not turning on my camera, but it's not working on my laptop here. So maybe if I generate some more fees, I can invest into some better tech.
We'd love to see your face, but we will happily accept alpha instead in this case. So just to kind of summarize what's going on here, if you're looking for which are some active pools that you can get into, particularly with lower TVLs, look at that first dashboard. If you want to see some invisible opportunities, all of a sudden of where there's going to be a discrepancy where you can really print fees, especially in relation to some of the Oracle whirlpools, you look at that second dashboard. And if you're a power user, you go to that third dashboard and you get even more insights into it. And broadly, if you think that the pair is going to be more volatile, you want to look at the higher bin steps, like Ben was saying. If you think it'll be a little bit more stable, look for the lower bin steps so you're able to capture more fees as the price is not moving as aggressively. I think the last thing I'd want to say is a shout out to Kagren for putting that together. Drop a little W in the chat if you found that valuable. I know Geek Lad says awesome stuff. FT, Shrejani, Andrew, Artham, and the rest of them are loving it here. Go check out Zippy Steak. I saw Zippy Soul is over there as well and help support the cause. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot, Cash. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So the next step up here, we're going to go from those Dune dashboards. And now you're thinking like, hey, this is great. I can find some pools. I can print some fees. I can start to have some more profits, a little bit less on the loss side. Well, we have our next guest here, Phil from the ISC team, who's going to be able to help show you their new P&L calculator that they're looking to get some help on developing as well. Phil, how you doing?
GM. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. It's always a pleasure at the strategy sessions here. What can you tell the people about your P&L calculator that you and the rest of the team have been putting together?
All right. Well, what I could tell you is we were looking at Meteora and we're thinking like, okay, there's one thing that we really want to build for people, which is like more like am I sharing my screen, by the way? Yes, I am.
Indeed.
So something more like a personal dashboard where you can see your positions, you can see your P&L, especially if you're more like a profit and loss focused person who wants to see dollars in your account, then we put something together for you where you can very simply put your address in here. And behind the scenes, we're reading your on-chain data, your account history, and compiling that into your open, your close position, your historical positions, and also a very nice account summary. Naturally, this takes a little bit of time for a account with quite a few transactions. So I'll jump over to this preloaded breakdown. My screen is not updated. Oh, okay. Richard just told me my screen did not update. Let me see. It's paused. Resume share.
There you go. It's working now.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, Richard's right behind me here, keeping an eye on the tech.
It's a team effort. That's good.
That is right. Teamwork makes the dream work. So we can see the breakdown here. I've had a total of 11 positions, also days, a little bit of like fun stats if you're into those kind of things. You provide a liquidity for like 65 days total. We can see your total deposits in USD. So at the time of deposit, you deposited $70 for all your positions and how much you withdrew at that time. So that's your tokens at the time of withdrawal. So that would be something like your P&L, which we can see down here. Now, I did skip over these two, standard deviation and Sharpe ratio. They're not quite finished. This was like into the last minute, so they'll have to come by later. So the token P&L, a little bit of percentage, averages, and your fees, and then your sort of like your account total. But like probably what people want to see the most is like your position performance. So here we have an open position for ISC USDC, which you can see how long it's been running, if it's in range, how much you deposited in dollars, how much you would have if you didn't provide liquidity, and that has to do with your ratio changing over time, and then how much those tokens are now worth inside of your strategy. And then we add on your fees and you get a P&L for your position over time. And on top of that, we also have the events. So if you ever added liquidity to your position or withdrew, then that will show here how many tokens you got in and out. So as somebody said, I think we had a comment from someone who said like, how can I find my positions for my account? Well, you could put your address in here and you can see your breakdown. And then if you did want to do something to your position, you can just click the pool name here. It'll take you to Meteora and your wallet will do its wallet thing. And right now we cannot see a position because my Phantom is connected to another wallet. But apart from that, we see close position. A couple notes here, it would be that for short-term positions, I know one in particular here that was 0.0 days because I was quick in and out of that, made nothing, but fees and naturally P&L percentages are a little bit skewed because the data is not as complete there. Apart from that, so we're planning to make this a bit open source. This is more like a base for developers or for people to use as is. We would love for people to fork this and keep building on it or give us suggestions. There's no guarantee that we'll keep developing it as it is, but if we do, then we'd love some suggestions. And I think that's all the waffling about. I'm happy for any questions.
Before we get to questions, can I just say how fucking awesome this is? This has been something I know people have been asking for a while, and be able to see it like so cleanly and easily in one place. Kudos, compliments to the chef. This is very impressive stuff here. And the chat loves it as well. Geeklad saying it's fucking awesome. John saying dashboard is very nice. Games Master saying, okay, this is something I definitely need. And people are already asking for the link to try this out as well, which is pretty good. Azusa is saying very good as well. Ben, what do you think of this?
That's very cool, man. I know a lot of people have been asking for this. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to check this out afterwards. Maybe this is something we could collaborate on. I mean, you know, basically one of the things we'd love to do, and I think everyone wants to do, is like have really good P&L tracking, because I think the thing is people they see the fees that they're printing, but they don't know if they're doing good or not, you know, in terms of P&L. So and the other thing I think this could really help is you know, I don't know if people realize like when you rebalance at any point that's not your initial price, you're realizing your impermanent loss. And so the only way you have for overcoming the impermanent loss is your P&L. So like what you're making on your that kind of like allows you to widen the range at which it's still profitable for you to rebalance. And because I think people struggle with like, hey, should I rebalance? Like I went out of range, or the price is this, you know, if I rebalance, I'm gonna pay another, I'm gonna realize that IL, but am I down bad, or am I still okay? And so having your P&L will allow you to make that decision better.
Yes, absolutely. And that was like one of the main points here, which is like, yes, tokens might go up, but then you're not seeing the under the hood, the price differences, the IL, as you said, which is like a big thing that many people don't think about, which is like, I've actually lost money. Even though I made $100 in fees, I've lost 110 in IL. So you're actually getting a $10 loss. And people did want the link. So I put together a little QR thing here, where you can either test the UI or check the repo. Let me present that. Did I share? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Tech support in the back.
Man after my own heart with the QR codes here. That's great. This is fantastic. This is just a service you've done for free for the rest of the community. The open source, the repo is itself open source. And this is what I think what is pretty cool about the LP Army here is that they're just coming together to help solve each other's problems. Maybe for anyone who doesn't know about ISC, kind of what you guys are doing, do you want to give people a quick overview of what ISC is all about?
Yeah, I'll give you a really speedy rundown of ISC. We're a stable currency based on a basket of assets we launched a year ago. And I joined the team a year ago at the Hacker House in Ho Chi Minh, 2-in-1. So we're celebrating a year together this week and a year since launch, which is awesome. So I can swing over to our dashboard as well, because I built the dashboard for ISC, where you can see a total breakdown of what we are and what we have, what we do. So as I said, we're a stable currency based on 5 ETF assets. and that's held in a reserve. And then we mint tokens on top of that for people to, of course, hold, market make, or trade, whatever you like to. Maybe Richard would be better at explaining this. I am not the best at these things.
No, that was great. That was very good. So for anyone who has not yet checked it out, go check out IC. Obviously, they're helping out the whole ecosystem with these kind of open source projects that they're doing. Definitely go check out Phil. Phil, you mind flashing up your Twitter one more time here?
One more time.
Where did it
Yeah,
go?
that's
Angie
at
Dev.
Angie. Yes, nobody
Angie.
gets that right. Angie.
Okay. Angie
Yes.
Dev.
Yeah.
Pretty sick stuff here. Ben, anything else you want to throw in?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, no, this is really cool stuff. We're gonna also actually I have two things to share too, that surprise agenda things, but anyway, or one surprise demo, one
Oh,
that's pretty cool, pretty sick. And then yeah, so I think also we're just to share, like, I think we're getting close to sharing a very basic I think I spoke about this before, but like a market making bot that we're looking to open source, and I think we're going to share the code pretty soon. It's still pretty basic, but there's maybe we can collaborate on this, but like we put in a little bit of P&L calc there too, but also rebalancing. It should have like rebalancing code and a few other things that will make automating easier for folks. So this might be another point of like working together on things. I think that'll be cool.
for sure.
And
So market making bot coming soon, but now you've got everyone all excited, including me. The first time I put together an agenda slide and it gets broken immediately.
that's sorry. I just do these things. I should have put it on there, but then I wasn't
No. Hey, the motto of all this shit is fuck it, we'll do it live, and let's do it live right now.
Yeah,
Ben,
let's do it live,
what is the
man.
demo you can show people now?
I mean, literally, I was just testing it out before this thing, and I'm like, wow, this is so fucking cool. But I'm like, I want to show it. Like, I think we'll launch it soon. We'll probably put it on Edge pretty soon. But I was like, ah, fuck it. Let me just show folks, because I think it's just so cool. It's so fucking cool. Hold on one sec. Like, let me.
That smell in the air, folks, that you're getting in your right and left nostril, that is alpha. So let's see it before their sort of world premiere, if I'm not mistaken, right here.
Premiere. World premiere. Actually, I've spoken about it, but I don't think I. All right, let's see. Where do I share screen? Here we go. Okay, share screen. I think it's. Wait, hold on one sec. I can't tell which screen I'm sharing.
It's got too much alpha on too many screens, folks. You got to choose which one to show here selectively.
Yeah. Yeah, one sec. All right, let me close out some of these things. I'm closing this one out, maybe. Okay, then. All right. Wait a second. All right, let's try this one more time. Share screen.
The tension is just building. Now, this is what a showman does. Makes you sweat it out until you can see it. All right, here we go.
You guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Oh, actually, no. Let me do this. Let me go. I'm just gonna go on this thing. All right, this is the really, really cool thing. You know the 69 bin limit we have? Fuck 69 bin limit. So there's this thing needs to be fixed a little bit, but let's just say I want to go from price 160 to 200, right? And see this is no longer 69 bins, right? Everyone's talking about 69 bins, right? So this interim solution is going to just create all the positions for you. Like this. And the really neat part oh, actually my slippage tolerance, of course, when I demo this thing. Of course.
The joys of live tech.
Hold on. It's actually super fast, but the really cool part about this is, let me set my slippage. Hold up, I didn't set my slippage things. This, oh, I don't know if this has this may not have the, oh, I think this one doesn't have the liquidity slippage. Hold on. So anyway, the Edge will have this thing, but, all right. So now you can plug in, I'm just going to be a little, let me do 190, right? So you can, I mean, honestly, actually, it doesn't even matter. Like who cares? Who cares how many positions it costs? But like, you can plug in whatever price range you want. It could actually even be whatever curve you want. We made some adjustments to these things, but I'm going to stay on spot. And so this one will, it'll just create all the positions for you, and it's super quick. It's actually because we're sending all the transactions in parallel. There's no sequential stuff. So, I think we'll have this out pretty soon. So it'll make your life easier. You can actually play in the smaller bin steps now. Like, and it, you just set whatever price range you want, and however many positions it takes, it'll just create them for you automatically.
That
this
is
one's
awesome. I know this was a long-awaited feature since sometimes, with the volatile pair, the price moves out and then you have to come back to your screen and manually move your liquidity or whatever else you're not printing fees. And now you can kind of set it and forget it across a much larger range all at once. So hopefully this makes life easier for everybody who's LPing, and those fees will just kind of keep printing even when you are not around and actively kind of managing it. Regardless of the bin step that you decide to. So you could use like a really small bin step and across a gigantic range. And now we have really concentrated liquidity at every little piece. Super cool. This is great.
Yeah, so you can see now it created the 3. And it's all accurate. So depending on what it'll create whatever bins are necessary for that across. You can be very, very precise on your price range. And now, so you still, like, the one thing is, like, there's still multiple positions here, so you still have to manage multiple positions, so and you have to go in and close them all individually. You'll have to claim, I mean, you can claim all, but you're still managing them individually, but it'll create all of them for you. It's fairly quick, so it's pretty cool. Like, I think it's really cool. We're still working on the thing where the next thing, which is going to be a program change, which will be huge, will be like one position, as many bins as you want. But for this one, the interim thing is that we'll just create all the positions.
That's pretty great. And I mean, shout out to the Meteora team for shipping here. I saw a little Figma of this, I don't know, like 4 days ago. And now here it is, just about to be live. Geek Lad saying a great stopgap. Charles Lumpo saying simply love it. And Richard saying good move forward. Awesome to have an interim solution. So yeah, I mean, it's just solving the people's needs with this thing. So when do you think this is going to go live on to Edge?
I think tomorrow, maybe. I mean, cross fingers. I haven't seen any issues. I kind of want to put it on Edge because I think it'd be cool to see people see how it works for folks. I've been testing it out on, like, even Soul USDC is not so bad with a few bin steps, but when things are really volatile and it's like one bin step, like I kind of want to see what people's experiences are, and how well it works. But for most cases, it's actually pretty good. So we'll see. I don't know. Yeah.
Try it out. We're on Edge, hopefully tomorrow, definitely by the end of the week then, it sounds like. And then jump into the Discord and give feedback, folks. You can see those fees already starting to come through. My favorite part of the Meteora product is honestly seeing the numbers just go up constantly on the unclaimed swap fees. That is pretty great, man.
Yeah, this one is, yeah. I mean, you can just go into these one bin step things, man, and just I don't know. It's gonna be crazy, actually, to be honest, but like whatever, like because once you go into these bin steps, it's like an insane amount of
Whoa.
insane
Yeah,
amount of
these are the tiny bit steps.
like this will be insane, man. Like, but I don't know. I would just like to see more people try it out and see how it works for them. You know.
That is awesome. Glad saying it's mesmerizing watching fees print. It is. It's how I go to sleep at night. I just watch that until I get lulled to bed. It's pretty great. Also 2,200 bins that you're creating down here is just fantastic. Excellent. So you said you had two things. So this was the one demo. Was there a second thing that you wanted to show or talk about as well?
Look at that, man. Holy, oh, you guys can't see it, right? It just created the whole, like 22.
Yeah, now we can see it. It's just
Oh, you
popped
can
up.
see now, yeah. It's crazy. It's so fast. So I think if you put like high priority fees and you should be pretty good to go. Anyway, sorry, this is just like no, this is the main thing. That's it. I mean, actually there is another thing, but I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna talk about it. Sorry.
How are you gonna tease us like that? How are you
It's
gonna
even
tease us like
better.
that?
It's even better, actually. I have some. We're gonna be announcing other shit that's even better. Like, but like, but this is it, man. This is it. No way. This was enough for the DLM strategy session. That's it.
Zipto Tiger saying show it, come on in the chat. But one piece of alpha, one significant product release per call seems like a pretty fair thing. So if you want to learn more about what's going on, obviously the community town hall is tomorrow on Wednesday, every Wednesday. And so perhaps maybe there'll be some more information there. We'll see. We'll find out soon enough. Listen, we have a few minutes left here. Should we go and see, does anyone have any curves that they want to show, any strategies that they're pursuing that they want to quickly show off to the community here before we jump? I see Geeklad immediately raising his hand. Geeklad, a staple in the LP army, came up last week as well and showed us a bunch of cool things that he was doing, along with an awesome bird eye trick that I started using myself, by the way. George, aka Geeklad, how you doing, my friend?
Hey guys, how's it going? I didn't realize it was Black Shirt Day. I wore a gray shirt, but not any curves to show per se, but I did want to quickly talk about, I guess, a little bit of alpha, that I've been working on. So Jay Gills mentioned this strategy to me, and I think we talked about it on one of the community calls or office hours. So he's been looking at transactions, DCA transactions, following DCA transactions. So he's been looking for opportunities where there are opposing DCAs in the same pool. So somebody's DCAing from token A to B, and then somebody else is DCAing from token B to A. And if the sizes are right and the times are right, it's a good opportunity because, basically you're gonna have both of those DCAs opposing each other, and it might be a good opportunity to print fees. So I've been working on trying to develop a Dune dashboard to provide some information on kind of these opportunities out there. So Jay Gills has been helping me kind of taking a look at some of the output of some of the SQL. So we're not there yet, but I'm hoping maybe we can have something on that in the next few days, and then I'll definitely share that Dune dashboard out with the community and take any suggestions people may have. Also need help validating it. Jay Gills has helped me validate, but certainly wouldn't hurt to have the LP army help validate some of that stuff. So
Have you tried that strategy, or has anyone in the chat tried that?
Yeah, Jay Gills has told he told me he's tried it and he's done pretty well with it. So hence my ambition to try to build a dashboard for him, because and I think it'll be good for everybody, right? Everybody will find opportunities. It'll be good for the people who are creating these ECAs, because it's going to create liquidity for them. It's going to create concentrated liquidity for them. Let the LPs go out and gather the tokens for you and open the positions. And so I think it'll be a lot of benefit to everybody. The people who are creating these DCAs, LP providers. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about this. It's pretty cool.
I'm excited as well, man. Anything that gets Geeklad excited gets me excited too. So hopefully we have something to show on the next strategy session here. looking for just kind of like new and interesting ways to LP and to print those fees, print those Meteora points, and make a little profit on the side as well, which is great. Thanks for sharing that, GeekLad. If you are watching this and you're interested in getting more involved, message GeekLad over in Discord, or sorry, Sid, who was the other person you mentioned?
Jay Gills. Jay Gills.
Of course. So you mentioned Jay Gills as well in Discord in case you want to get more involved. All right, cool. Well, I think that should just about do it for us today. Ben, anything else that you wanted to throw in before we jump off here?
Yeah. Well, basically, I did an announcement about the LP Army Boot Camp. So we're doing a sort of call for instructors, boot camp instructors, and basically
The draft has begun.
The draft has begun. I think we're gonna make this super fun, for instructors and for folks. I feel like we can, we still get a lot of new people who are just new to LPing, and I feel like if we can have come up with a really good like boot camp curriculum for someone to go from 0 to like LP hero, I don't know what, but anyway, they like in a short condensed time frame, I think like, man, this would just really help upskill a lot of folks, and then maybe we can have more advanced stuff as well. And so, just looking for like people who you don't even have to have great teaching experience. It's like you just know how to use the DLMM pretty well, and then we can all work together to find whatever format works. And I think the plan is also to record these things, create content off these things, also make like really fun roles and stuff like that. So it should be good.
That's pretty good. LP privates, LP generals, LP everything basically coming in here. Tupperware is saying in the chat, I would love a boot camp. I'm new and see the potential of the DLMM, but I know I have a lot to learn. I think that's true for me as well. I've been, we first premiered, or I should say Ben first premiered the DLMM on the ecosystem call, like, I don't know, 6 months ago, and I'm still figuring out better ways to optimize my own fees as we go through. Ted also saying would love to attend a boot camp. So I will certainly be there in the classroom as well. So if you want to help teach it, and you're watching this, please reach out. Do they reach out to you just in Discord, Ben? What's the best place to get in touch?
Yeah, DM me in Discord, or you can like at me in one of the channels, and yeah, we can go from there.
Sounds like a
And
plan.
I would add not just instructors. We also need people to help develop content, right? So if you're good at video editing, graphic design, we're gonna need all sorts of help. So not just instructors. So definitely raise your hand if you want to help out.
Bootcamp, got to spread the word of the LP Army taking over. Dipto Tiger saying, what is the time needed for this? How many hours per day? I think it's still in formulation. This is going to be, you contribute, what was that old Marx line? You contribute according to your ability, and everyone else kind of benefits from their need. I've messed that one up. But yeah, if you're able to kind of contribute whatever your skills might be, definitely shoot Ben a message and we'll take it from there. All right, folks, I know we're just here at time. So for me, Cash Donda, for GeekLad, for Ben Chow from Meteora, for Phil and Richard from ISC, as well as Kagren from over at Zippy Steak. Thanks for coming out to this DLMM strategy session. We'll be doing this every week, so we'll see you again next Tuesday for the next version of this. And of course, the town hall is tomorrow. Don't miss that as well. Thanks for coming out. You do not have to go home, but you cannot stay here. We'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Everyone, bye. Cheers.